guys, this is John McQuay with 8541 Tactical and my lovely driver Sarah, and we are on the road somewhere in Kentucky coming back from the Guardian Long Range match. So we didn't want to leave you guys without a Mail Call Mondays, so I kind of wanted to let you guys ask any questions or see what's going on. You'll have to kind of bear with me here. I'm struggling through the YouTube live interface. Haven't done this before. My hope is that I'm going to be able to get this thing set up to where you guys can ask some questions and we can actually answer them. So if you have some questions, make sure you put them down in the comments below. Otherwise, this may be a fairly boring live stream. So make sure you fire some questions out. And yep, there we got Booger Dog throwing up a check 223 check. So I'm getting your questions flashing up here. Hopefully I will be able to read them quick enough and be able to answer them. So if you got a question for this live Mail Call Mondays, the first one ever, then go ahead and throw it up. It doesn't have to be questions related to the match. It can be questions anywhere or anything. Well, where did we win? No, we didn't win. I actually placed fairly far down the board. There were 92 shooters on this field, and I think I placed, what was it, 34th, something like that? 44th. Okay, so I placed in the upper half, but that was not in any way, shape, or form due to the equipment. It was totally due to my actual my performance and my practice. I haven't been getting out practicing a whole lot. Hang on one second, guys. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to get Sarah's phone pulled up and try to be able to actually get the questions on Sarah's phone, because they're scrolling by pretty quick on my screen. So we'll see if we can get these pulled up on her phone on YouTube.
Just for the record, this whole live thing was my idea, so y'all have me to thank for that. So really throw out anything you want and we can see what we can do with it, okay?
So again, I apologize for this. This is definitely not a proper planning thing on my part. And if the gimbal goofs up on us a little bit, I may have to shut it off. It's deciding to try to kind of go sideways here, and I have no idea why. So let's pull up some questions. Sarah, you want to just tell them a little bit about how the Guardian was set up this time, since it was a team match?
Yeah, the Guardian, this match was different from the last couple of matches that they've been shooting. They kind of had a new concept. So day one, you came out, there were 12 stages. The way that Frontline Defense was set up is that we had 2 stages at each location. So it kind of helped you stay put for a little bit. So we had 6 different locations and 12 stages to go through. At the end of day one, we got scores. We knew who the top shooters were. And so day 2, you came being paired up with your partner, which was based upon how you ranked in the previous day. So if you weren't going to come back for day 2, they could take you out and you could still be paired up. So it went top shooter, last shooter, and so forth. So you kind of got a mix of good skill and learning. They were able to really spread that knowledge and that wealth. And it was day 2, I believe, was just so much more fun, and that was the overall consensus, simply because the pressure was off and you could actually enjoy and teach and learn from your other teammates. I was paired up with a gentleman named Juan. I cannot pronounce his last name, so forgive me, but he was kind and patient and taught me a lot, and it was just the little things that other people
Well, I tell you what, the interface here is not working for me. I'm not able to actually see your questions other than when they scroll by on the screen. Question that was just posted was if I have any goals at doing one of the gas gun series this year, and I don't have any hard plans right now. I would like to shoot one of the PRS gas gun series matches. They look like a ton of fun. If I can get the Ma-10 to cooperate with the 140 RDFs, I would definitely like to do that. If not, then I may just load up some of the older 140 Hornadies and run it, but I definitely would like to. The problem that I run into is we've got a pretty good chunk of my regular time off is going to a family vacation, so I don't have a ton of extra time to be able to take off to shoot matches. Some of you guys, I talked a while back on one of the episodes about the fact that my job, I work a 4-day on and 2-day off cycle, so it's only about every 6th weekend that I actually get a Saturday and Sunday off. So most of the time for matches, I actually have to take vacation or take some kind of time off to be able to actually go shoot these matches. So it eats into a lot of vacation and a lot of comp time. But I definitely would like to get down and shoot one of the gas gun matches. So, well, big double D19 said, love what you guys are doing, keep it up. And you know, we'll keep it up as long as you guys are watching. Again, I apologize for this kind of thing, but we're going to try to do this little YouTube live thing for a little while, and then we're going to switch over and we're actually going to shoot the after action report for the match while we're on the road here. So we'll see how well that goes. I did shoot some good video clips from the match, so we should have each of the stages with the exception of the rooftop stage, and some of the team stuff I didn't because we were just shooting a lot of the same stages over again in a team format. And yeah, Sarah does have a nice intense stare on the roadway. She's trying to make sure that she doesn't wreck out and kill us all since we're traveling on little wet roadways here. But yeah, it was definitely her idea here to do this this little live deal. So you guys can thank her for it. So for this match, because the Ma-10 didn't work real well for us with the 140 RDFs, I ended up bringing the Accuracy International AE Mark II, shooting the 243, and I think that may have actually helped me get a few more hits because the wind down there at Frontline was kind of interesting. It did a lot of switching up, did a lot of changing around on us. So
yeah, the wind was no joke. There was one stage where I started holding off the right edge, and there, you know, there's 5 targets, 10 shots, and by the 10th shot, I was holding a mil off the left edge. It was no joke. In the same stage, in the 90 seconds that you had to, so you really had to adjust for wind call. It didn't help that I was shooting slow bullets either. But it's no joke.
Yeah, we one of the things that we're definitely trying to consider is what we're going to do as far as Sarah's rifle, if we're going to keep her with a 308 or upgrade her to a 6.5 Creedmoor, just to get a little bit better wind cheating ability, a little bit lower recoil, or if we're going to keep her with the 308 so she can shoot in the tactical class. Unfortunately, since she's shooting a Remington in an APO chassis, production class isn't really an option, and we haven't been shooting a lot of actual PRS matches. So I get a little note flashing up here saying we've got a bad connection. Are you guys still getting me, or are we blipping camping out here, since we are kind of rolling through the hills of Kentucky at this point. One of the questions you guys just flashed up here is PRS type competitions for kids. They are doing a couple of them down in Florida. We'll try to post some links down in the comments for some more PRS stuff for kids. We're not doing anything in our area, although if a younger shooter wants to come shoot a PRS type match or shoot one of our local matches, we would definitely include them.
There was actually an 11-year-old boy at this match who did compete, so you know, they're welcome gladly. That's the next generation, guys. We got to keep them shooting.
Yeah, we do see younger and younger shooters showing up at some of these matches, and they're definitely included. Accommodations are made to make sure that they have fun. One thing that was nice to see at this match, I've told you guys before, at Guardian matches, the prize table doesn't run like a typical match prize table. Prize tables are typically approached in the order that you finish. So if you finish first, you get whatever they set as the first place prize, but also a trip through the prize table first, second, third, in the order you finished. Guardian actual raffles off the prize table, so regardless if you shot or not, if you're an actual shooter, you get a certain number of tickets included in your entry fee, but anybody that's present at the Guardian match can buy a ticket to actually approach the prize table. So there was one of the younger shooters there. He ended up lucking out and getting a lot of hits at the prize table. He got a new Masterpiece Arms chassis, got a new barrel. Pretty much, I think he ended up making enough trips through the prize table to get just about everything except a receiver needed to build a brand new match rifle. So he worked out pretty good, and hopefully he'll be able to get a nice rifle put together and something to upgrade his shooting. But I think we're definitely going to look at upgrading Sarah's rifle, most likely with a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel. We're looking at doing something like a Remage barrel on it, one of the Northland Shooter Supply barrels. We've heard of some really good results with those barrels, and it would allow us to rebarrel her rifle at home. She's already got the APO chassis and a Timney trigger on a Remington Action, so if we get that Action trued up and get a Remage barrel on there, then I think that's really going to get her shooting. So what do you guys think? Have any of you actually worked with the Remage barrels? Have you had good luck with them? Love to hear what you guys have to say on those. That, and Peyton asked, have you looked at the bug nut barrel system? Really, I've never actually heard of them until now, so I'll have to look that up. The Savage type barrel system really interests me because it does allow for barrel changes at home a whole lot easier. Time Flying asked about the Dracos barrel, and I just learned about that at this match here. Some of the guys were talking about the Dracos barrels, and those seem to be really interesting. So for those of you that have never heard of the Dracos, because I hadn't heard of them before this, they are similar to the proof barrels and some of the other carbon wrap barrels in that they take a solid barrel blank, from what I'm understanding, and they turn the barrel blank down thinner, and then they use a epoxy matrix with powdered aluminum, I guess, suspended in, or aluminum shavings suspended in the matrix, and then they have a sleeve over top of that. So kind of like the old Teledyne barrel systems. So it uses a tensioning sleeve over the outside, and they seem to have a very interesting setup on them. I really I don't know any more about them other than that, but it's something I'll be researching once we get back to the shop and seeing what they have going on. If they have a barrel nut type system, then I may go ahead and give that a try and see how that works out. So if anything, we'll definitely be looking into it a little bit more to get you guys some information to let you know that they're out there and it's one of those systems. We may look into one of the proof barrel systems that again use the barrel nut. But again, proof barrels are a very expensive. We got the gimbal going wild there. Proof barrels are a very expensive option if you're running into a system where you're actually going to be rebarreling it often. Those barrel blanks have a significant premium over a standard high-end barrel blank. So, but there's no denying the ability to be able to switch that off at home. Being able to just throw a barrel nut or a barrel wrench on it, spin that barrel off, spin a new barrel on, and go. And you really can't argue with, for instance, the Northland Shooter Supply barrels. The price on them is a really good option to keep your match rifle up and running, and to be able to just switch off and try a new caliber if you really want to try a new caliber. So definitely something we're going to be interested in. Izzy Long asked if we'll be at any booths at the NRA convention. I don't know if we're actually going to make the NRA convention this year, so I have no idea. Mike H asked, or he says he feels that Remington has really gone downhill in the past couple of years. From what I've seen, the quality control on Remington has really kind of started hurting. I'm not sure what's going on there, but especially on the consumer side of things, the QC has really seemed to have gone down a bit. We're still working on trying to get the review of the Remington 700 long range and 300 Win Mag out there, and I've really struggled with it because we haven't gotten the results that I would expect to see out of a mid-range Remington rifle. And I took some extra time because I really wanted to make sure it wasn't me, it wasn't the ammunition. So it's taken a little while for us to get that out there. We will be getting that review rolling out soon, but it really hasn't performed up to par. It's definitely not what I would consider a minute angle or sub-minute angle gun. And when you hang a name like long range on a rifle, you really expect it to be at least MOA. Arvid asks, what do I think of the Boyd's laminate stocks? I haven't really got a chance to use a lot of the Boyd's products. I've shot a rifle or two with the Boyd stock on it, and I think if you're going to go to the effort of pillar bedding and glass bedding, the Boyd stock, then it's probably going to work just as well as some of the fiberglass stocks out there. They've got some nice shapes, so you really have a wide variety of shapes to choose to fit your specific shooting style or your specific preference. But and they got some really cool colors out there. Papa Sierra 1 asks, did I get anywhere on the RDF bullet issue yet? No, I kind of had to just stop what I was doing with them because I needed to get things set up and get ready for the Guardian match. As we're filming this, I'm getting the shipping notification from Midway that the comparator inserts for our Hornady comparator gauge are arriving at the house. I have a Hornady bullet comparator, and then I have the Hornady headspace comparator at home at the shop. And what that allows me to do is take both of those and put those on the calipers at the same time. And then with the .26 comparator inserts, I can actually throw bullets in there and I can measure the bearing surface length on the bullets. So when we get back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a handful of those bullets out of the box, and I'm actually going to measure the bearing surface. I'm going to measure the overall length. I'm going to measure the weight. I'm going to measure pretty much everything I can on those bullets without throwing them in an optical comparator, which is something I don't have access to. So we'll try to see exactly how close those are and see what kind of variances we're getting. Elliot asks about the primary arms 4-14 R-Grid scope that we've got in. Your question flashed by a little bit too quick for me to actually, oh, there we go. I can scroll back and forth and see that. I'm sure you guys love seeing my finger stuck up in there. And Sarah thinks that's absolutely hilarious. My comments went bye-bye. Where'd my comments go?
Learning curve.
Okay, yeah, we're getting this figured out. Okay, anyway, back to the question on the R-Grid. The R-Grid is on deck. I just got it set into some rings. We didn't have a mount that specifically fit the R-Grid because of the space between the turret housing and the illumination housing on it limited some of the mounts we could throw it in. So we've got that set up. I've got some rings on it now. We're going to throw it on a rifle and get some work with the R-Grid out there. For those of you that don't know, the primary arms R-Grid scopes are really kind of neat. They have a Horus type reticle, but apparently the R-Grid is different enough that they don't have to pay the premium to Horus for it. So the entire R-Grid scope, the entire 4-14 scope, comes in at less than the price that you would pay as a premium to get, for instance, the Horus scopes in the US Optics or a Nightforce or something like that. So it's a very, very interesting setup. Now the big thing that we're going to be looking at is how the accuracy of the tracking and the return to zero is on it. Usually what you'll give up on those really mid to low price scopes, and I would consider the R-Grid to be a low price scope. When you get into those, the tracking accuracy can sometimes suffer. So we're going to run tracking on it, but you have to bear in mind that if the scope doesn't track accurately, really what you're still relying on is that grid. So if the grid is etched accurately in the reticle, and it is a first focal plane scope, if the grid is accurate, then the scope is still an absolutely usable scope for something like an SPR. Without an accurate tracking turrets, I don't know if I would want to use it on a precision rifle. But the way the center grid is laid out on it, it has the horseshoe and it has the chevron in the middle. So it's really more oriented towards an SPR, like an AR-18 or a 20-inch AR, something that you're going to be doing fast engagements and you still want to be able to reach out with. So it's a really interesting reticle, and I will really be interested to get that out and run some ammo through it and check it out. We may throw it on a JP LR07 that we've got in, because that's a 16-inch 308, and it allows us to get out and bang some steel at extended ranges and then back in really quickly. MX Guy asked, any thoughts on the Savage 10 or 110 BA Stealth? We don't have any plans to get one of those in for review right now. We are looking at getting a Savage 10 based system in, but it won't be the BA Stealth. We've reviewed the chassis system that comes on the BA Stealth in the Remington version, so it would kind of be retreading over the same ground to review that. I have no doubts that the BA Stealth is an accurate rifle. It's just if the chassis system and that buttstock will fit what you want to do. The big deal with the buttstock on it is it uses one of the Command Arms adjustable stocks, and I'm not really sure that stock is the best option for a precision rifle type system. The toe on those stocks tends to be very sharp, and it makes it a little bit difficult to run on shooting bags. So not the greatest option. If you switch that over and you put something like a Luth AR stock on it, then that may be a little bit better option for shooting precision. We hope to get one of the new Savage APO rifles in a little bit later in the year to get reviewed once we get done with the two rifles that we have on deck for review right now, and that is the new Howitt chassis rifle. We've got that sitting in the safe. It is scoped up and ready to go, so when we get back we just need to get it out and get it on the firing line. And then also we have the Desert Tech SRS A1 sitting on the shop floor, ready to be reviewed. So we'll get that in there. So that's basically what we have on the horizon. I'm sure a lot of you guys really want to see how that Howitt chassis rifle works, but that's about it on how that's going. So the Mike H asks about the new Bergara rifles. I'm kind of interested to see how those are going to work out. We haven't done a lot of shooting with those. They're coming in at that production rifle class price range and setup again. So we may look at getting one of those on deck to test a little bit later this year. So we'll see how those work. And Andrew asks, how about the Ruger Precision Rifle and 6.5 Creedmoor for the 7mm? I'm not sure about that question. We did a full review on the 6.5 Ruger Precision Rifle. If you check down in our video catalog, you'll see that we did do a pretty in-depth review on that. One thing on the RPR review, and a lot of you guys commented on this, we mentioned that the buttstock on the RPR didn't lock closed, but believe it or not, it does lock closed. And that was something that we kind of overlooked. It will lock closed just by turning the little button there, but you know, we overlooked that when we actually did the review, so I apologize for that. You guys asked about the MDT chassis. The review on the MDT chassis will be coming. That is on a rifle. It's scoped up. It's ready to go. I just have to get it out to the range. On chassis, when we review chassis, we really only have one or two actions on deck to switch into a different chassis to review. So we have to get one review done before we pull that chassis out, or that action out, and put it in the next chassis. Yeah, the spam is getting a little annoying. You see me going up and pecking at the screen. I'm trying to kill some of the spam that's coming by when that pops up. So as soon as I get back, the MDT chassis will be going to the range, and we'll be getting some work done with that. What kind of accuracy we're getting out of the 6.5 Ma-10 build? With the 140 Hornady ELDs and the 140 Hornady Bowtail hollow points, we are running right about MOA or so. Sue, the in-car computer here, is talking to Sarah, doing some weird things. So, are you good?
I don't know.
Okay, I think we're good there.
I know. All right. Get home from here.
Ender asked about the a Magpul 700 rifle. Well, we have a Magpul stock that we have done a long-term review on, and that is getting ready to drop as well. Our other test action has been sitting in the Magpul Hunter 700 stock, and that guy has been working really, really well. The last thing I have to do for the Remington 700 in the Magpul Hunter 700 is I need to get our 260 barreled action into it and make sure that it will feed the 260. And as long as it'll feed the 260 at extreme mag lengths, then that thing is going to be good to go. The Hunter 700 right now is really going to be my pick, or my recommendation, if you are an absolute threadbare budget for a magazine system and a buttstock ready to go. It's really priced right. It uses either AICS magazines or the Magpul PMag AC magazines. So as long as it will feed the cartridge overall length that you have in mind, then I think it's really a great option. We haven't had any accuracy issues with it. Obviously, it doesn't have the adjustability that a full chassis system has, but as long as you can drop your spacers in or get your cheek piece dialed in, then really you're going to be good to go. What are my thoughts on the new federal gold medal match in 6.5 Creedmoor with the 130 grain burger bullet? I haven't got a chance to try out the gold medal match. I really definitely want to check that out and see what kind of accuracy we can get from that. So definitely want to see how well that works. No time frame on when we'll be able to get some of that in. We got a lot of irons in the fire right now. The priority of stuff that we're trying to knock out is the Remington 700 long range review. That is probably going to be coming up next, and then the Knife Force Beast review. That guy has been running for quite some time. I have really beat on that scope. So we're going to have really a good bit of information on that scope once I come out. C Squared asked if we're going to be coming out for the Woodies match later this year. I don't really know if we have any plans on it. I know there's going to be a Guardian going to Woodies a little bit later in this year. It was
June 10th. If that's the one you're talking about, that's when we're going to be on our big family vacation, so we will not be available at that time. We'll simply just be out of the country, so we're taking some adult time for us.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing our best to get Sarah out to a few more of these matches. Maybe not just Guardians, maybe some other PRS style matches. But again, the problem that we run into is actually balancing the family time and the vacation time and the whole work schedule thing. Sarah, many of you guys know that she works as a nurse. She actually works weekend option on her unit, so she works every weekend. She actually has to schedule vacation or request PTO time to get days off. Mike asked if Sarah is in the public relations department.
Here at the company?
Yeah,
yeah, that's on me.
Here at 8541 Tactical, she definitely works as part of the public relations department. I saw a couple of questions just pop up about the straight pull actions. Why we don't see more straight pull actions at the matches, at PRS style matches or any of the precision matches. I think that's just because we don't see a ton of straight pull actions here in the U.S. They are definitely more popular over in Europe, but here we're very limited on the number of them. Straight pull actions can be very accurate. The Blauser actions, we reviewed a TAC-2 way back in the day, and the accuracy was not an issue with it. The only problems we had with the TAC-2 were some magazine issues, and if it was our rifle to mess with, I think we might have been able to resolve those with some magazine tweaks, but accuracy definitely was not a problem. So if you had a straight pull action like a TAC-2 or some of the other variants of that rifle, it's definitely capable of shooting a PRS style match or a Guardian match or any of those, and they're very fast to shoot when you're used to them. Big Double D19 asks, there aren't many options for PRS matches in Canada, so he's thinking of coming up with some matches. Any suggestions for good matches in the Northeast area? I'm sorry, he says he's thinking of coming down for some matches. Right off the top of my head, I don't know of any to recommend. Any of you guys that are watching, if you've got matches in your area in the Northeast of the U.S., please go ahead and throw them up there in the comments so he can check that out. I have been kind of remiss in trying to get something up on our webpage to where we can list matches that are coming up. We have a calendar module kind of installed on the webpage, but it hasn't worked really well for me getting in there and adding matches. And for obvious reasons, I'm kind of hesitant to open that up. Managing it, if I take user submissions and allow users to just post stuff to the calendar, could be problematic, as you guys can see with some of the spam issues that we're having just here on the questions. And we got a question from Chet asking about a few months back. He talked about working up some 300 WinMag loads, load development. I don't know when we will be able to get a load development episode up on the 300 WinMag. Hopefully that will be following on shortly after I actually get the 700 long range review done. Once I get the review done, then we're going to go ahead and tumble that brass, get it worked up, and actually get a load worked up for it. Right now, I've got some of the Hornady, I believe they're 208 ELDs. I'm not 100% certain on the grain weight on those. I've got some of those in, and I've got some H1000 sitting on the shop floor. So we'll see how well that's going to actually work as far as load development. If you guys have any suggestions for load development, then definitely throw it down there in the comments. This will be the first time I've done a load workup on a belted Magnum, so it'll kind of be a learning process for me as we go along. Now we've got a lot of hello comments from some of our foreign viewers, and I hope those are foreign viewers and not just spam bots throwing comments. Question on if we have any collaboration thoughts on the Tibosaurus Rex videos. We really haven't reached out to Rex to see if there's any possibilities for collaborations, but there's always a possibility. I love working with other people. We've talked to Tim at the Military Arms channel before about doing some collaboration type stuff, but really haven't solidified anything. So there's always the possibility. We just, of course, run into those time frame issues, getting things worked out with my schedule and whoever else we might be working with. So, I love to hear suggestions. It's just a matter of trying to get it work. And John Doe asked, Mail Call Mondays would be much better as a podcast. We have had quite a few requests for the whole podcast thing, and it's not totally off the table. It's just something that I haven't really looked into closely. If we can set it up so that it doesn't actually take any greater time to push out the podcast and the video, because we definitely do not want to neglect the YouTube thing. That's one of the reasons we're actually doing this live stream thing on YouTube. It's actually a whole lot easier to do a Facebook live feed than a YouTube live feed. But we didn't want to leave you guys that are our long-term YouTube subscribers out. Obviously, YouTube is where this thing really started. YouTube is where we get the vast majority of our revenue stream from. So we want to keep the YouTube thing rolling. But I do listen to a ton of podcasts myself, so I really want to look at that. Well, let's hope that police car isn't coming after us. We've got a unmarked Tahoe turning around in the median with red and blues on, so hopefully he's not coming to see us.
He's still parked. It's fine.
Yeah, Sarah's doing the speed limit. Don't worry, guys. So,
speed limit-ish. I'm not the fastest.
Speed limit-ish. So, question came up, who is the better driver? I will tell you that Sarah is definitely a more relaxed driver. I tend to be a little bit more of an aggressive driver. I still like to drive within the legal limits, especially in my personal vehicle. But because I'm used to pursuit driving and I drive a car 8 hours a day, I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, and tend to get a little bit more irritated when people don't follow the rules of the road. So
yeah, that was a really good way to put it, that Sarah's just a better driver. He's very aggressive. That's oh gosh, is he? I usually joke that I need a Xanax when he's driving, but I'm a control freak, so me being in control is part of that. Yeah, guys, it's not only the officer in him, but he gets it genetically from his father. So I'm just up a creek without a paddle both ways, really.
Mike asked if I think the 220 grain Berger bullets would work a whole lot better in the for long range and the 300 Win Mag. It's really going to depend. What we're going to fight with the 700 long range is the factory Remington barrel has a typically long throat in it. I haven't actually measured the throat yet, but usually we need bullets that have a decent jump, and so Berger bullets really, for the most part, don't like a long jump unless they are the hybrid design. Hybrids may work, but regular VLDs probably will not work well in the factory Remington barrel. And really, the long-term plan for the 700 long range is the goal in purchasing it was for that long Magnum receiver. It probably will not stay very stock for long. I will probably end up swapping that barrel out, either again for a Remage style barrel, or we will just go with a typical premium barrel installed on that long range, and it will get either a chassis system that accepts a magazine, or we may go ahead and have the Grayboe stock milled out for Surgeon magazine system, and then get that set up as an actual decent long-range match rifle for something like the Thunder Valley precision type matches. So that's the long-term goal for it, and it's going to be as the budget allows and as time allows, because as soon as you start talking about sending a rifle out to a gunsmith to start having work done, that pushes our time limits out on stuff. So you guys have any recommendations? What chassis system would you like to see the 700 long range go in? Would you like to see it go in something more like a McMillan stock, or would you rather see it go into a actual chassis system like an AI chassis? And Joseph asked, sorry for bombarding you with questions, but what do you give up going with the Grayboe stock instead of the McMillan? Is it a different material? Well, it definitely is a different material. The Grayboe stocks are a homogeneous fiberglass type mixture. So if you think about something like I'm trying to think of how I can really describe it. It's a fibrous material in an epoxy matrix, and it is injection molded into it, so it's not hand laid up like a McMillan stock is. So the Grayboes are a uniform mixture all through the entire stock, but they are still a kind of an epoxy matrix, so still kind of a fiberglass setup. They are really, really dense feeling stock. We had the Grayboe on the 700 long range. We're still going to be doing a full review on that. But the real nice thing about the Grayboes is the production time on them is quite a bit lower than the production time for a McMillan stock. The disadvantage with the Grayboe stocks is you have a limited number of options. They don't have a lot of inlets right now. They don't have a lot of barrel channel options, and they don't have a lot of magazine system options. So you really have to go like you would with a lot of other factory options, and just if you want an A5 type stock, pick something like the Grayboe Renegade, and then have your Smith inlet it for your magazine system or inlet it for your barrel channel. and you're good to go. The Grayboe stock that we got in did actually have aluminum pillars in it, so that's really nice to see. And we were getting comparable accuracy from the Bell & Carlson stock. And there we go, our
Gimbal battery.
our gimbal just died on us. So it totally croaked out. So this will be handheld from now on, which may actually work better for you guys, but it's going to be a more shaky video. But anyway, the Grayboe stocks are really a great option for a upgrade from a factory stock, and I think we're still going to see really good accuracy out of them. We will be working with the Grayboe stock a little bit more and get you a full review out there. Now, regarding chassis systems, I definitely would like to look at something like the JAE chassis. We have not done anything with those yet, so we may holler at them and see if we can get a chassis from them to review. Video is gonna be shaky here for just a minute while I pull our gimbal off of the phone, and there we go. That'll be a little bit lighter weight for me to hold here, but Mark says his vote is to put it in an M24 HS Precision chassis, or HS Precision stock, with adjustable length of pull and cheek weld. Really, we haven't seen a whole lot of great results out of H&S Precision stocks. The failure point on a HS Precision stock tends to be that front sling swivel stud. So if you have an HS Precision stock, definitely be careful of that stud. It tends to rip out quite easily if you load your bipod a whole lot. So definitely bear that in mind if you have one of those. But the JAE chassis, they seem to be becoming a little bit more popular now, a little bit more prevalent. They had a really rocky start when they initially announced the Remington 700 version of that chassis. It had a really long wait time. Pre-orders were stretching out for a very long time, and finally they started getting out there, and a lot of shooters seem to like them. They have a really attractive look to them. I just don't know at this point how they compare to things like AICS chassis or the Masterpiece Arms or McCree chassis, a lot of the other ones out there. We did just get a McCree G10 chassis, one of their new PRS style chassis. In fact, it's in the back of the car right now. One of the McCree team shooters loaned it to us, and thank you very much for that. So we're gonna throw that guy on one of our test rigs, and we'll get some information out to you guys on how well that worked. Since it is a personal chassis, it's not one that McCree sent to us. We want to get it out, get it reviewed, and get it back to its owner really quickly. But I know a lot of you guys have asked us about info on the McCree chassis before, and so hopefully we'll be able to get that out there. So, yes, we are really live. Yeah, this is actually live right now. So if you got questions, throw them up there, and I'm trying to pay attention to them as quickly as they roll by. And if you guys have any questions for Sarah, throw them up there, because I've been talking for about 40 minutes now, and my voice is starting to go a little bit hoarse. So, Grayboe versus McMillan. Well, that's really going to be a question of what your pocketbook can sustain. I think if you have the cash for the McMillan and you have the ability to go with the wait time, my choice would still be McMillan. But the Grayboe stocks really are not in direct competition with McMillan. Grayboe is supposed to be really a quicker and a more affordable option. So, Big Double D19 asks, how did you get Sarah to start shooting? His girlfriend won't have anything to do with it. So, Sarah, how did we get you to start shooting?
Well, I'm not like most, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I am I grew up on a little small farm where we just shot at the barn. Shot the broadside of a barn with a 22 on Sunday afternoon because that was kind of fun. So I grew up shooting. Our first date was actually to the shooting range for handguns. Excuse me. And I just kind of wanted to do what he did. I liked the idea of having control. This sounds awful, and I can't believe I'm hearing you say it. But having control of something that powerful. There's a lot to be said about having the ability to shoot something that is not really meant for someone my size. So to me, that was kind of the draw to it was, well, you probably shouldn't, so I'm going to. But as far as interest, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Well, he talks, I listen. So there's that. And it's just kind of our culture at home is part of what we do. But as far as how he got me shooting, once he realized I was not that comfortable shooting a gun that was set up for him, and he built me my own rig, or we had obtained a rig that was adjustable for both of us, it became a lot more enjoyable.
I think the first time she really figured out that she wanted to do this kind of stuff was out at the Oregon Sniper Challenge. It was several years back.
Yeah.
They had the field kind of set up as a shooter spotter kind of thing for one stage, and they kind of needed an even number of shooters, and a shooter dropped out at the last minute and left an open slot. And so Steve Heisman, the match director, asked Sarah if she wanted to shoot.
Okay, wait. He didn't ask me. He looked at me and said, "You're going to shoot. Let's find you some ammo." Is what he said. And I said, "Okay."
Okay. So luckily, I had the AE Mark II still set up for 308, and the Oregon Sniper Challenge was a mil LE match, and I think at that point it was still kind of limited to 308 military caliber, so 223, 308, 300 Win Mag, and Steve was able to come up with some extra ammo, and Sarah got to shoot it, but there were some disadvantages there because, of course, the gun was zeroed for my loads, my ammunition, not the ammunition that she had to shoot. I didn't have enough ammo to allow her to shoot my ammo that the gun was zeroed for, so she had to shoot with an offset that we could dial in. So it really was a pretty significant pain. And the other issue, of course, was the rifle was set up for me, for my cheek height, for my length of pull, and she had to just make do with it. And I don't think she had ever really shot a rifle that heavy before. So all this kind of combined to make it really difficult for her, but she soldiered on through it and did really well for her first time shooting something like that. And
it was a 2-day match, and we're good friends with Jen and Steve, so that was not a big deal. And that rifle was 18 pounds? Is that what it was? Does that sound about right?
It was pretty heavy. I don't think it was quite that heavy because it still had a 20-inch 308 barrel on it. It doesn't have the huge Krieger number 9 that's on it right now. So that got her into it, and then from that we decided that it really wasn't a good idea for her to continue to try to shoot my rifle, since we have a definite size difference between the two of us, that it would be better to go ahead and build up one of her own. So that kind of got us started on that road, and we've been feeling it out ever since. And this year, I think we're probably going to make the jump to actually setting her up an open class rifle that is kind of the best of everything. That way she isn't limited by equipment at all, and she can just work on her shooting technique. So we'll see how that goes. One of you guys asked about what car this is. Some of you have asked in the past. This is a Subaru Crosstrek. It's actually a 2016, and we've got it kind of set up and loaded out. It has their eyesight driving system in it, so it's got adaptive cruise control and lane assist and navigation and all the stuff. And this is really my first new car in a very long time. I tend to not buy new cars. I prefer to buy used cars because the depreciation on them, I'd rather let somebody else take that hit and pick up a relatively new used car. But this guy, we couldn't get it used with all the stuff we wanted, and we spend a lot of time driving to and from matches like this. We actually bought this car in April of last year, so we've had it for right at a year now, and it's got over 25,000 miles on it. So spend a lot of time driving it on the road. So that's the story on the car. It works pretty well. Maybe if you guys keep asking, I may do a quick down and dirty overview on how I like the car. Since we're not really a car channel, not really I am a little bit of a car guy, but I'm not a car reviewer. I don't know if I really want to spend a ton of time doing a car review on here. Let's scroll back through some of your questions again. As I said, I'm actually starting to learn how to do this. When will we have the review of the Guardian shoot? Well, I'm going to work my hardest to try to get this up this week. Like I said, we're gonna try to actually shoot it in the car here once we're done with the live stream, which will probably end the live stream here in about the next 10 minutes or so. My battery level is going down, and my arm is definitely getting a little tired holding this guy.
And Chunky Girl's got to eat some lunch.
Yeah, and we do need to pull off here and grab some lunch. It's almost noon our time. So we're going to try to get it up later this week. Scrolling down a little bit here. Yes, we did get the leather interior on the car. Kid puke wipes off great off leather interior. No carpet. There's not a carpet in this car at all. When you spend a whole lot of time in the car, cleanup is a big thing. So leather and all-weather floor mats are a great thing. Yep. And Time Flying said adaptive cruise control and lane assist. Sarah might as well take a nap. Not quite. It doesn't keep it in the lane. She's still got to do that. It just yells at you if it goes out of it. So, Home of the Brave asked different aspects of long-range shooting from John and gear choices. Well, gear choices, we've gone over a couple of different gear things in the past, or different gear overviews, what I take to matches. We'll talk a little bit about gear during Guardian. The Guardian match really wasn't a gear match, but it definitely was a match that you did need a few pieces of gear to shoot well. That's one of those things too, that as Sarah starts shooting more of these matches, kind of on her own. I don't want to say totally on her own, because I'm generally there for support and technical assistance and that kind of thing. But for instance, in the Guardian match on our second day was a team day, and she was squatted with another shooter that was not in the same squad as I was. So she kind of ended up a little bit screwed in the fact that she didn't have access to all the shooting bags and all the support gear that I normally carry. We haven't duplicated that gear at this point because she is normally squatted with me, and we just switch off gear. Two of the things that we ran into that were somewhat problematic at this Guardian was, first of all, the fact that she shot right before me on almost every one of the stages. So she would shoot, I would be on deck waiting, and then as soon as she came off, I had to strip the gear off her rifle, or strip the bags off, and then switch over and get set up to shoot. And sometimes it would be a little bit of a lag time, and other shooters would be waiting on me to get my rifle set up to go up and shoot. And I absolutely hate that. I hate making other shooters wait on me. When it's my turn to shoot, I want to go up there, start the stage, go, and then get off, so that I keep the stage moving. In this aspect, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it is nicer to have your own shooting bags so that you're used to them. You have them ready to go. You have your own sweat and your own nastiness on your shooting bags, and you're not dealing with somebody else's stuff. So that's really kind of one of those big things. Andrew says, hi John, thanks for doing what you're doing. And he said he knows I've reviewed the AB arms already and what I thought about it against the rest of the chassis. Well, Andrew, it's really not fair for me to continue to comment on the AB arms because we reviewed an early version of their chassis and they have changed a lot of things. If you go back and you look at the SHOT Show video that we did right after we did the review on the AB arms chassis, we talk about a lot of their updates that they did to their chassis. We have not gotten one of their updated chassis in yet, so I don't feel it's fair to continue to comment on how well the early version of the chassis did. Chassis systems overall, we tend to not compare them in an AB style, one chassis to another, because there is a lot of personal preference in chassis. I really, having shot a ton of different chassis and then go back to regular fiberglass stocks and go back to factory stocks and then back to chassis again, I tend to realize that personal preference plays so much into it. As long as the chassis is built well and built with a lot of adjustment into it to where you can dial it into your body type and there are no accuracy issues with the way the chassis is built or no magazine issues with the way the chassis is built, it really ends up in what your preference is. How do you like it set up? What kind of pistol grips do you like? What kind of butt stocks do you like? Do you like a full tube forend? Do you want an open top forend? Do you like a light chassis? Do you like a heavy chassis? Do you need a folder? Do you not need a folder? Do you want a bubble level in your chassis? Do you not use bubble levels? I mean, all this stuff kind of plays into what you want on it. So if it's a chassis that we've reviewed and it's a chassis that you're looking at, I would say really use what your price range is and what options you think you want in a chassis and narrow it down to maybe 4 or 5 different chassis and then go look and see what reviews we've done and the different points that we comment on each one of those chassis, and then use those reviews to really compare them. It would be somewhat difficult for me to really do a chassis lineup video and then stack a bunch of chassis on the table and compare them one to the other. I think it would very quickly become a very convoluted, rambling video and not really give you a ton of choices. I've often thought about doing a page on our website and kind of make a grid and do a table with different chassis and say, hey, what would you guys, or with this chassis, it's this kind of feature, and this chassis has this kind of feature. So kind of a comparative table of different features on different chassis. So if that's something you guys would like to see, let me know and we'll try to set something like that up, because I think we can do that in a very fair and unbiased manner and give you guys a little bit of options on which videos are out there and a quick access to which chassis we've reviewed. So throw that in the comments if you'd like to see that. I keep seeing a couple of questions pop up on where we are going. Well, we're actually on our way back from the Guardian Long Range match.
You're going home.
So yes, we are going home at this time. This is day 2 on the road. We took off from the Guardian Long Range match at Frontline Defense in Warrenton, North Carolina, and we are on our way to Southern Indiana. And we broke it up kind of in 2 days. We spent the night in Beckley, West Virginia last night, just so that we weren't stretching it out. It's about a 11 and a half hour drive or so for us. So, well guys, I think we're going to end the live stream here. It's about time for us to jump off and grab some lunch. I hope you guys have enjoyed our first ever live Mail Call Mondays. As always, if you like the video, please like, and share and subscribe. If you have any questions for next Mail Call Mondays, throw them in the comments section down below. When we get back on the road and once my voice is recovered a little bit, we are going to shoot the Guardian Long Range review. Obviously, by your comments, the audio has worked well enough on here that I don't think we're going to have any audio issues, so we will shoot that. And then we're going to mix in some video of the different stages, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting us for all we do. And until next time, get out and shoot.